Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a brand new episode of A Definitive Discussion Rebooted, my talk show podcast where I bring on phenomenal individuals from all over the place on the internet, the games industry, and I bring them on the show to come talk about some stuff, talk about gaming, talk about other topics, and a whole bunch of interesting stuff that I know you guys will really love. Definitely let me know in the comments section if you guys enjoy these episodes, especially if you're going to enjoy this one. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as always, and also don't forget on Patreon, dollar level or higher, we get the bonus EX modes that are tangential to this episode that you guys should definitely check out. There's been a lot of great guests, a lot of good topics, and a whole bunch of other great stuff. But anyway, I have Renee, who is also known as Geek Girl Ren, who's the games editor over at Geek Girl Authority, who's also a Twitch streamer, and also does a whole bunch of other stuff, you know, with her content online. Such, but Renee, what's good? How's it going? What's happening?
Everything's going great, you know, just working and streaming and family stuff and, you know,
in quarantine.
It's an interesting time.
In quarantine, you could say it. I'm in quarantine.
Yeah.
So
just, you know, doing things in the comfort of my own home. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody right now is doing things at the comfort of their own home. Comfort right. Being a very loose word right now because everybody's getting sick and tired of quarantine at the moment. But either way,
right.
The reason why I brought you on is because I want to talk about streaming. You know, I've talked about streaming in a couple of my episodes in the past, which if you guys are listening to this now, if you haven't checked them out yet, definitely go look at the playlist I have on the channel now because there's a bunch on there from various different people that I've had on the show. But I haven't done a generalized, you know, topic on streaming. Just talking about streaming in general, what it's like, you know, to play games online on places like Twitch, places like Mixer. You also do a little bit of YouTube stuff, but you're mostly on Twitch, correct?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch. I've been Twitch streaming for about 2 years now, and it's definitely an experience for sure.
Does it get easier with time, like overall? Because I have friends that are content creators that they do YouTube, but they also do Twitch on the side and stuff. And I've done Twitch myself for a while, but I've moved a little bit more towards YouTube because, again, things just weren't popping off for me on Twitch for a long time. Does it get easier over time? Like, did you ever get to that point where it's like, okay, you're streaming like every day, every few days, or a couple days out of the week and stuff?
Well, I started streaming three days out of the week. They always say, you know, stream coaches and the like will say 3 days a week is your sweet spot, right? You don't want to stream too much for too long, and you don't want to stream too little and lose your audience. So I started with 3. You know, Monday, I believe my schedule is like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, which were good nights for me. I ended up switching to 2 nights a week just because of my schedule and with my work with GGA and my family time. But, you know, honestly, I feel like it's gotten a little bit easier, but it's still constant work.
It's grueling. Like the way that I felt, because there was at a point where I was streaming multiple days out of the week and sometimes even every day out of the weekend. Obviously that's not good because it does a number on you, both, you know, mentally and a little bit physically for some people. And in my case, mentally, because there'll be days where I'm streaming for like 2 or 3 hours and nobody's watching. And that is demoralizing. Like that's the worst feeling in the world, or at least one of the worst feelings in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when I stream, I stream late night. So my stream time is 9 p.m. Pacific Standard. So by the time I go on, people are going to bed or they're waking up. Or, you know, if they're across the pond, they're waking up, and, you know, the last thing they're going to look at is my channel for a little bit. But yeah, it's grueling. I mean, you always try to keep it interesting. You're always trying to change, you know, change your games, change your style. You know, I've had friends who started around the same time as me, and they just bounce from different content to different content, just trying to find that niche, you know? And it's difficult. I mean, there's thousands of us on there. You know, we're just trying to carve out our small little chunk of the Twitch space.
So many people doing it at the same time too. I mean, in your case, you know, did the adjustments help like with the growth? Because even with me, again, I can only speak from my own personal experience outside of just watching other streamers on places like Twitch and Mixer and even YouTube to an extent. Like I would try to adjust like, okay, less days streaming, maybe less time streaming. Like there was a point where I was streaming for like an hour and a half and stuff. Does it really help when it comes to adjusting the amount of time that you're streaming? Does it help with lessening the days or changing up the days and stuff? I mean, what is the thing that you found that was more beneficial to you when it came to getting people to follow or to tune in much more often?
Yeah, I think adjusting my schedule helped because, I never want to, you're always competing for certain times. My friends were streaming at the same time as me, and, I would switch up games. I'm a variety streamer, so I'm always playing something different. But I realized about a year ago that I can't be switching up my stuff all the time, right? Consistency is key. When you're streaming, and I was always trying out a new game every stream and people couldn't keep up, or if I was playing one game I would bring in a certain group, a certain audience. If I switched it up they would never come back. So it's trying to get that feel for what people really enjoy watching from you personally. Do they enjoy your chill content? Do they enjoy the hypeness of your streams? And I personally am not a hype streamer. I have a lot of friends who are. They're just, constant energy is constantly up for hours at a time. But that's not my stream. I'm a very chill, relaxed streamer. And so I have come to recognize that and accept it, that I can't change, the flow of my stream or the feel of my stream. I am a chill streamer, so to speak. And so I kind of operate under that title, under that description of my stream. So I know people coming into my channel are going to be, on their way to bed, and I'm fine with that. I play more calming games. I don't try and, bring the loud music even though I want to. It's like, no, this is the place where you come and relax. And that has helped because now I've found my brand, so to speak, with it. And so I've kind of been building off of that.
Has that at least made it a little bit tougher to grow, though? Because you know how people are on Twitch, especially, again, any streaming platform. They want things a little bit more exciting. They want the chat active. They want people, they want people to be a little bit more uppity. At least that's what you see with a lot of the streams or just the streamers that have large followings, like the Dr. Disrespects, the PewDiePies, the Angry Joes, etc. And those are all loud individuals. You can even throw in Amaranth, or you could throw in, was it SS Sniper Wolf? Yeah. A lot of those different streamers are all louder, or a lot more faster paced than anything else. Like, is there still, like, in your case or any others that you could think of, with chill streams that could have that potential to grow just as big or at least close to that level?
Yeah, I think so. It is a little bit tougher for us. I mean, you watch a Twitch stream to be entertained. For the most part, you go and be entertained by a streamer, and if they're hype streamers bring that energy and that positivity and that enthusiasm for whatever game they're playing. And for a chill streamer, I feel like there's a little bit more work involved. I mean, we do draw a certain who doesn't want to be hyped up all the time. They want a little bit more of a relaxing, calmer atmosphere. They're winding down at the end of the day. They want some of that nice, smooth ASMR happening in a stream to like help them relax or calm down or fall asleep. And, I do get a good amount of viewers. I definitely am still a small streamer, by definition, but, there's a lot of us who have embraced that, and that's what we do. You have the ASMR streamers who grow to be big time. I mean, there's some really good ASMR streamers that'll bring in a lot of people who are partnered, and they've been able to build their channel focusing on just ASMR. And you do have very calm streamers who have achieved partner status, who are doing very well for themselves. But it is a little bit of work. You do have to realize that you're going to bring in a certain audience. You might not see certain people again because they check out their streams and they only show up for that, for a particular game or for a particular feel, and then they go and hang out in another stream that's a little bit more hype and a little bit more exciting to watch. And it's a slow growth process for sure, but at the end of the day it's worth it. It's worth talking to viewers who are like, I really appreciate the chill vibe of your stream. At the end of the day, I could just go to your stream and it's just so calming, and your voice is so relaxing, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm I'm doing a service to people. Maybe not a whole lot of people, but if I can brighten somebody's day who's had a rough day, who's had a very stressful day, especially during this time, then that's a win for me. That's a successful stream for me.
That's good. Now, with all that being said, what is the one thing that you feel like is wrong with streaming right now or needs to be improved heavily? Because everybody's got an opinion about this for one reason or another, for various different reasons across all different platforms. You get 100 different answers from 100 different people when it comes to this type of stuff. Now, for me personally, as someone that's usually on the outside looking in, as someone who's more of a viewer than he is a broadcaster, even though I've done some of that stuff, but, one of the things I always find is that there's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to different types of qualities with the streams. I'm not talking about the picture quality and stuff. I'm talking about the content, the individuals and the personalities that are put out there in the spotlight most of the time, especially when you come to like a lot of news stories and a lot of crazy things that happen on places like Twitch, etc. and stuff. But like for you, like what's the one thing that you feel like needs to be improved right now?
I think moderation.
Yeah.
Moderation of what goes on Twitch or what goes on Mixer. I think they do their best to like, here are the rules on how you conduct yourselves on stream, but that's hard to moderate with so many people streaming. But at the same time, if you're going to put those rules in place,
you got to stick with
you
them.
have to hold all of us accountable to those rules.
I agree.
And I think one of the big frustrations a lot of people have is those inconsistencies where it's like one person does one thing, another person does almost the exact same thing. One person gets punished and the other person does not. And then, people start talking, oh, it's because they know such and such and they're, they have all of these connections, which makes them untouchable. And I think that's a mark on Twitch or on Mixer, on any streaming platform, and it's not a good look. So I think, moderation is key here for what we do on Twitch, and holding us accountable for a lot of our actions and making sure that everyone is accountable in the same level, playing field there. So.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I always feel like when it comes to moderation or when it comes to enforcement of rules, which is usually a really big topic, especially on Twitch over the last couple years, for obvious reasons, people that are listening to this. The thing is that I always feel like the goalpost is being constantly moved, and it's being moved at convenience, not because of changing and evolving the rule set because to a changing environment. It's mostly because either Twitch wants to look a certain way, or at least, again, we're picking on Twitch right now, but like it could be any streaming service. Like any streaming service wants to look a certain way and avoid a lot of the backlash from the viewer audience. I think that's a huge problem, especially for the larger personalities, because, look what happened at E3 this past year, and I was at E3 this past year, and I was around some of that stuff that happened. I wasn't involved, but like you saw some of this stuff go down, and it was like, okay, like people are visibly upset, and you can understand where they're coming from with that emotion, because they're like, listen, like you guys are kind of, or at least again, talking to some of the streaming platforms like Twitch and stuff, you guys are just doing things or not doing things at convenience. And it's not like you're not being fair. You're not being, especially to the larger group of people that are out there that are not doing this type of stuff and then getting in trouble for like the minusculest of reasons out there. Does that ever get frustrating for you personally? Do you ever feel like sometimes, the deck is stacked against you because of stuff like that?
Honestly, no. I see it happening, and I empathize with the people who get very frustrated over it, because I get it. It's frustrating to see those inconsistencies and those kind of levels of favoritism that happen in the different streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I try not to let that bother me. I'm in the I'm in the mindset of I have to concentrate on my own thing. I can't let a lot of this stuff bother me personally. I've got too much to worry about on my own. I've got my own content to worry about, my own community to take care of. I try and, I'll be around if people need a vent about it. But I try very hard not to let it get to me personally, because there's nothing I can do about it.
And something, it's funny you say that. It's very funny you say that, because one doesn't really have to worry about certain stuff happening like that if you're not doing it. or if you're not getting involved with it, because I always find that really weird. And it's the same thing even on YouTube. So I can relate, to it on this level, where a lot of the stuff that happens that people are constantly complaining about, especially when it comes to YouTube's consistencies or inconsistencies, is usually stuff that are people actively doing the same thing that they just don't want to get in trouble for, or that they want the same type of like preferential treatment in certain ways. It's like, well, if you don't get involved with certain of these things, or if you're not really doing anything to rock the boat and I shouldn't say rock the boat because maybe that's bad phrasing, but doing stuff that like causes a problem, that causes an issue and stuff, then you really have nothing to worry about in that regard.
Right.
Isn't it the same way, at least in this case, when it comes to streaming? Like if you're not going into somebody's bathroom and streaming, like you obviously don't need to worry about that type of thing of you getting banned or not. Like, am I right?
Right. Yeah, and it's a little bit of that, but at the same time, people need to be called out on their inconsistencies, especially Twitch or Mixer or YouTube or whatever. So, it doesn't affect me personally, but I applaud the people who call them out on a lot of those inconsistencies, and I support that. So, so I'm kind of all over the place with it, but personally, these things don't affect me, but I applaud the people who call them out, and because they're legit reasons to be fresh.
It's complex.
They're legit.
Overall.
Yeah, it's legit. You have every right to be upset about the inconsistencies. Since it doesn't affect me personally, it puts me in a weird place. I mean, I still am affected by it. I'm not a fan of the inconsistencies with a lot of this stuff, but at the same time, it's like I can't. I've got so much on my plate to kind of worry about. And again, if somebody is really being personally affected by it, I do my best to be a support, some sort of support for it.
So here's an interesting thing to bring up, though. Like, does it make it harder for those that are hosting the platform, like Twitch, like Mixer, like YouTube, like Facebook and stuff, because things are almost always end up getting so messy like that with all the different reactions and other crazy stuff with it? Does it make it tougher for them to change up the platform and improve things for the better? Because whether it's trying to make things a little bit more fair, whether it's trying to make moderation a little bit much more, better overall, just like in the way that things are done, or the response time to certain stuff. Because I know a lot of people complain about that across all platforms. Just in general, does it make it harder for them to improve the platform for everybody else because of all this?
I think sometimes it does, because you make changes, you get backlash anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if you do something good, like everybody's still going to be upset. Like,
there's always going to be somebody who is not pleased with changes that are made, even for the better. There's always going to be somebody who's like, well, that could have been done faster, or where was that 6 months ago, or, oh, you're barely doing this now because of A, B, C, and D. Yeah. Where was this response? So, it comes with the territory in the end.
It's difficult. It's complex. I think it is very complex. That's the best way to put it, because it's not just black and white like what people try to make it out to be. There's a lot more other things all moving at the same exact time.
There's so much gray area. We're swimming in it.
Here's a good thing to ask them before we end this episode off. Do you think that, with all that being said as well, do you think that sometimes those platforms, or the bigger platform holders, need to do a better job of blowing up other smaller creators into much more larger stars? Because obviously most of the time you see the promoted page on a place like Twitch or on YouTube, and it's usually the same names that come up most of the time, or at least frequently, compared to everybody else. Do you think that maybe in order to better the platform, they got to blow up newer people or newer stars?
Yeah, I think it would be great if there was ever a way for these platforms to be able to do that. I mean, there is a lot of phenomenal content creators that have smaller audiences that does, they deserve to have a little bit of spotlight on them. And I know it's easy to kind of go to your go-tos, right?
Yeah.
You have an event coming up, you go to your favorite go-to streamers because you know that you already know what they bring to the table, and that's what you want. But yeah, but then again, that's difficult. I mean, there with the 1,000 of us that are on Twitch or Mixer, but I feel like sometimes Mixer might do a better job. I've had friends who have done the switch from Twitch to Mixer, and their discoverability has slightly increased being on Mixer. Then again, I know, Mixer does its best to kind of spotlight new streamers. And it's worked for a few of my friends. And so, I have friends who are still on Twitch who are still doing that grind. And even though their content is amazing and it's still hard to be discovered.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Twitch can do at this point. I mean, it's a many-headed beast, Twitch is, and trying to come up with a way to put a spotlight on some of the smaller communities. Is kind of a daunting task.
You can say that about all the different platforms. You can say about Twitch. You can definitely say that about YouTube. I've complained about that with YouTube for a very long time for various different reasons, not just from my own stuff, but just in general when it came to a lot of issues and stuff. But again, that could be applied to just about every single one out there. But either way, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at some point, I mean, even if they were to have like events that people could sign up for, and then you go check out our content to see if it's worthy of being a part of these events. I mean, even something as simple as that, I think would make a world of difference in terms of, giving the smaller communities something to work towards. And I know a lot of people have even asked, have been wanting some sort of middle ground between affiliate and partner, even on Twitch, because it's such a big gap. You get affiliate with, 3 average viewers, but in order to get partner, you need 75 average viewers over a month. It's like, it would be great if there was some middle rank you could possibly get to at least, so it's at least something. It's at least something. There's, you're being recognized for putting in the effort and building up your community. And yes, you're not there at partner yet, but you're there. You're in that middle, that nice middle ground.
Eventually, they'll figure it out. At least hopefully a better way to deal with all that.
Or
stuff.
something, anything would be great.
Yeah. Well, either way, Renee, thank you, for chatting it up with me on this episode of the show. Where can everybody find you? You're on the socials, so talk to me. Where are you at?
I am. I'm at Geek Girl Ren. That's WREN on Twitter. I am at GG Ren on Twitch. I'm at Geek Girl Ren on Instagram. And you can find my articles on geekgirlauthority.com. You can check out the gaming news that we put up there. Yeah.
Is it mostly news? Is it mostly news, or is it like other op-eds, like reviews and other stuff as well?
Yeah. It's breaking news. It's reviews. It's demos. It's reviews. We do we talk about games that we love and the reasons why. So it's a little bit of everything. But we have some tremendous writers on that site. So definitely check us out. We're good geeks. We're good geeks there.
It's good. You're good geeks. At least you all know now. It's okay. We can relax. Okay.
Yeah.
But so definitely go check out that stuff. Go send her a follow and such. Go send her some owl hugs on social media if you can, of course, because we always send owl hugs to people that come on the show.
Or argue with me if you want to. That's fine.
No, don't go, because you know how YouTube will be like. They'll be like, oh, really? What? Okay, let's go argue with her. Because it's just going to be like a bunch of people just showing a bunch of trolls. Oh, my God. Yeah. And anyway, thank you again, Renee, for chatting up with me. Guys, let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Talk to me about all the stuff that we just talked about here on this episode of the show. And also, let me know who you guys want to see on here and what type of topics you guys want to suggest that we dive into and such. But from both of us here, don't go anywhere. Okay, because we're going to do an EX mode in just a bit. Make sure you guys check out my Patreon page. Again, $1 level or higher to check out that episode and all the other bonus episodes that we have of EX mode that are over there. But anyway, we will talk to all of you again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.